And now I will begin. Okay, so let's just go ahead and generate. We owe this to the Buddhas. Okay, so let's just pay homage quickly. All right. You got your prayers with you? I'm very, very strong with prayers, and I'll explain to you why. Okay. All right. So just let's quiet a bit of our mind and just have a little moment to set our motivation in being here today. Okay, so just a little moment, and that moment starts right now. Okay. And let's recite all together. I go for refuge until I am enlightened into the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of practicing giving and other perfections, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened unto the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of practicing giving and other perfections, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened unto the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my merits of practicing giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they be never separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. And may they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every offering, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginning this time, and rejoice in the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate all the virtues of myself and others to the great awakening. So let's set this aside, because you need the second page later. Well. All these little things, like you have your notebook, all these little packets of sort of paper, such as this. Oh, you don't have one. Sorry, anyone who's a bit late, here's your lotto ticket. Yes, all right. Very good. And please do not share those tickets because, they're very, very personal. And does anybody have a pen? Yeah? Okay, so keep that aside, all right? Set it aside, it's very important. So all these little things that we're doing here, these are basically what they call, all right, a little bitty part of practice. This is what would it takes for anyone to be enlightened, like this. All this little, if you think about it, a bit crazy, like, whoa, wow, this is too stylish. We have paper, we have books, yeah? That is very important. It's very important. Even though you take note and you don't really read later, it doesn't matter, because all these are set through your motivation of wanting and wish to become liberated. Yeah? So I respect you all for keeping all your notes. So today, no, I'm not gonna ask crazy, a little bit question again, but I might from time to time. Okay? You like those questions?
Yeah.
So we kind of remember, you know, like why Buddhism is not really a cult.
Yes.
Do you feel better that, you know, like, wow, my religion is not a cult? And that definition may not be on Wikipedia, but it's because if you think about it again, it's logical. Dharma has to be logical. Because if it's not logical, they call it adharma. Okay? Adharma means it's not dharma. Anything that has so much self, it is not dharma. Anything that is about just to look like a Buddhist is not dharma. Or you know, you like this all the time. When you go, you see a sangha and you say, oh, yes, Sifu, yes, Sifu. Really, do you mean this? Because what you don't mean, if you never meant it to be like this really, it is what you call adharma. So you better not even do this if you don't mean it. I would rather close your eyes and look at a sangha, look at your respected teachers, and you just bow like this. It is more profound. Why is it profound? How does one thing becomes profound? Yeah, there you go, please. Yes, so we're ringing a bell here. We're ringing a bell. It is every action, everything has to come with motivation. This is a serious one. Even when you don't do the action and you're thinking about it, that is already setting a seed. So this is just again reminder of what are we doing here. This is not only here to just listen to whatever. It has to be applied in the life, because the Dharma is worthless if you don't apply it and you don't know how to use it. And what we're trying, the book that we've chosen is, you know, the title is From Believers to Bodhisattvas. Why is it Bodhisattva? Because Bodhisattva, when you hear a Bodhisattva, it's because you are a Mahayana practitioner. You wish to be awakened, to be enlightened, in order to serve other beings. Not all of them, not only human, not only your cat, but not the neighbor's cat. My cat is special. But when you see another cat, like, well, my cat is very much good looking than the other cat. Or my dog is more fluffier, you know, than the other dogs. You see? That is, again, differentiation, you know. How can we create? How can we become? How can we have the body-mind? If we think like that, we only bow to a great teacher, but when someone you hate, you cannot bow. That is hard, no? Oh, come on, let's admit it. It's very hard. Well, this is actually good. Because if it is not hard, then you're already Bodhisattva. Okay? So, all right. So let's talk about, okay, our book, Believers from believers to bodhisattvas, okay, is basically I have chosen that book from Kempo Chulsrim Lodro, okay, is because it just basically summarizes some, okay, of the most profound meaning of Buddhist practitioner. How do we really practice? And why do we practice? Let me ask you this. Why do we practice? Is there a final performance? You know how when we practice? Why are we practicing? Because we need to know this. Why do you practice?
Is it like something related by the rules?
Yeah, but when? When is the final thing then?
Yeah. When you achieve enlightenment. When you
Well, you probably won't even notice that you reach enlightenment when you have been awakened.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that what are we, you know how athletes, why they practice, no? Because there is the Olympians, for example. Why do they train for years?
To prepare for enlightenment.
No, not the athletes, right? Well, sometimes when you win an Olympic medal, that's like an enlightenment to an Olympian. Yeah. So what are we preparing for?
Death becomes Buddha.
Death?
At the point of
What do you think?
I think to achieve Buddha.
Bodhicitta.
Okay, that's very good. That's very good. Yeah, I just want to know, like, why do we have to practice? What are we practicing for?
Peace of mind.
And when do you perform? You know, like, you know.
No, every day.
Every day, but
Why,
then you...
why die when you practice?
Well, when you're dead, you can no longer practice,
Yeah,
right?
but at the point, leading to death, that you have peace of mind. That's why we want to die peacefully.
But then how come others get reborn? Then they start all over again.
Karma.
Oh, this is very, very. Don't you ever thought about that? Why am I practicing?
Practice to show people I'm a Buddhist.
Helen, you're really, really good. It's true. Think about that, please. Have any clue why we're practicing? Huh?
To end the cycle of life and death. It's one of the
For me, I've seen a lot of suffering in my work. So wouldn't it be nice to see everyone be free from suffering? That is the motivation for me.
To practice.
Because in my work, I've seen a lot of suffering. So from there, I like to see people free from suffering. That is my motivation.
So that's the reason why we practice, and so if we're practicing, like a dancer, why do they practice?
No.
Okay, we're getting closer. This is very important.
performing.
No,
Yeah.
you practice so that it comes naturally to you.
You practice so that what?
So that other people can see that, so that you can actually benefit others who are not Buddhists to be awakened by what we are practicing.
Look, this is all. I'm not saying it's wrong. It is all because but I need you to be aware. Why on earth are you practicing? It's like the word "ing," shopping. Why are you wanting to go shopping?
To buy something.
And why do you want to buy something?
It's something.
Why do you want to buy something?
For me, I feel that there's a lot of truth that can come up from our own experience, that we're actually practicing and we realize the truth. You can tell people something. The only way to find out is to practice it and experience it, and then you find that there is truth in it. That's how.
Ah, very good, very good. See, this is actually important. And thank you, because you know what? My mind will never be as equal as yours. It's not that I'm better, I'm probably the worst. Okay? Because everyone think their actions differently. Even though we all sit, again, as I said, or we all sit in the temple and we pray and we're there. But why again we are so different?
Motivation.
Yes, because our motivations are different. So then therefore we come out different. Again, why do we practice? We practice so that what? Why does dancers, you said earlier, why does dancers practice? You know, the star dance, you know, the dancing with the stars. Why do they so practice?
Do they practice just to get better?
To attain perfection. To attain perfection. To attain, to become stainless without any mistakes. To become perfect. Yeah? What are we trying to perfect? Discipline. If you perfect the virtue's discipline, the virtue, you reach that level of a stainless mind. And that is one quality of the Buddha. He's a stainless mind. No stain. Why then we continue our practice to perfectness over many lifetimes? Then there's no more. You burn everything because you create so much virtue for many eons. Then you become a stainless, then you become a Buddha. But without any sense of practice, will you ever reach that awakening? And why do we need to be awakened? I have to remind you, because then sometimes we get lost with this very academic, you know, because remember, studying Buddhism is not just like going and bow to a statue, okay? The statue is technically, if they move the statue, then you're shocked, like, oh, the Buddha's not there. to where you practice, to where even the Buddha, even a statue is not there, the Buddha will always be in the mind. What was the initial question again? I got lost.
Why practice?
Why do we need to be awakened?
Oh.
Yeah, why do you want to be awakened?
When do I know that I'm awakened?
Oh, you will know. I'm just. Why? Why do you want to be awakened?
Liberated? We need to be liberated.
Because
We know the truth.
so what? If we know the truth. A lot of people say, oh, I know the truth, but they don't really do anything with the truth.
We awaken. What is
Why do we want to be awakened? You know, I'm being awake because we're all asleep all the time. You know? It's like we're seeing all these things like fantasies, and we're not really seeing the truth. And we avoid it. Right? And with the more we don't see the truth, we create more non-virtue. So then we create more non-virtue, what happens? You go straight to lower realms. Then you have to burn about eons of years there. You don't even know when you're gonna again get a perfect human rebirth. And today, and last week, again and again, we have realized that, oh wow, I am endowed with these 18 qualities of being perfect, of a human, to practice the Dharma. Does it make sense? Now, but again, why do we want to be awakened? Is because it is the only chance you can escape samsara. And who loves samsara? Raise your hand.
Nobody.
Oh yeah, we do.
Samsara is suffering, isn't it?
Yeah, we like that. I go, buy the
You should see
jewelry.
Helen said, oh, it's like she's just awakened from her deep asleep. Like, oh, this is samsara, yeah? Who loves suffering? Do you ever wake up in a day and say, oh, today may I have, oh, my life I wish to be suffering? Do you ever wish that?
No.
Yeah, you always seek happiness. You said, please, may all my problems vanish. But you know it will not. Because, what? Problems and troubles is the shadow of karma. It's like our karma is the shadow, is our shadow. It follows us everywhere. Even how much you run away, it will always come. And the stainless mind, when you reach stainlessness, the state of stainlessness, you become an arhat. And we become arhat, that means that you already have perfected, okay, the virtue. Meaning, there's nothing, no more negative comes out because there's no more, there's really, you perfected all the discipline. Meaning it becomes natural. So then you don't create negative virtue. When you have more negative virtue, what happens? Of course, they elicits suffering. Okay? So think a little moment here because this is quite interesting. Does anybody here actually have no suffering? Right now, are you suffering right now?
Yes.
Explain how.
Thumb is not so
Absolutely. Yeah, anyone who pretends they're not suffering here, raise your hand. Yeah. And who loves suffering? There are people who actually, like, if they don't suffer, but then, again, we will study more about suffering because there are stages of suffering. There are 3 kinds of suffering. Okay? So this is the reason why we're here. Right? But is this even your goal? Is this even your wish to escape suffering? Because it has to be. Otherwise, then, there's no reason for you to hang around here.
No, I think when we look at it, I just have to say something because we don't say look at always escaping for suffering. We're looking at the other side, always looking for happiness. What
Yeah.
makes us happy?
But
On the-
looking for happiness is also suffering. Once you look for happiness, you are suffering already. Every time you hope, you're suffering already. Every time you wish for something, you suffer already. I wish I'm gonna win this lotto today. You're suffering already. You're wondering what on earth Rakita is doing with this thing. You're suffering already.
I'm suffering already. Because I don't understand looking for happiness is suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you are suffering.
Right. Frowning already.
You know how I look? You know how you see someone suffering?
Yeah.
You look at their eyebrows.
Or the frowns.
Yeah, and when they meet, the 2 points of the eyebrows meet, they're suffering already. You see?
Yeah, I can't understand.
Yeah.
Looking for happiness is suffering.
Because
But
you
it's
are not
true.
happy before.
Because you're hoping for something.
Why are you not just happy
So
without
the
looking?
act of looking for
Yeah.
happiness is the suffering.
Ah, beautiful. You just defined the meaning of nirvana.
Wow. Wow. Nirvana.
This is very deep philosophy, but it is definitely expounded by the Buddha. Okay? This is again the reason why your Buddhism is not a cult. Aren't we so fortunate to even come close to this? So yes, when you hope, you suffer. So the question is like, well, Rakita, that's impossible. I hope I want to be this. I hope it's want to be this. I hope I can be enlightened. Then you're suffering already because that's what you hope for. But that does not make sense anymore, right? I'm like, how? Goodness. What do you think?
Yes, because you worry how you're going to get it.
Absolutely. So that's the reason why we practice meditation. And whoever is coming to my class, what were we trying to practice?
Mundane. Supra-mundane.
No.
We're stuck with super mundane. No. Let me. Why? What? Remember? Remember each time I let you sit and we sit. What is the goal?
Let go your troubles.
You see, this is very important. Again, it's like, you know those little birds that's actually outside the cage and you say, come. Come. I'm just trying to get all of you back to the cage so that, you know, like I can somehow remind you it's dinner. or because you know, this is the profundity of Buddha Dharma. In most cases, we get confused and we have no clue what we're doing with it because it is so exotic. It's like food, like for lunch here, we have about 20 meals. I was so confused, I have no clue. And then it turns. And when it turns, it's like, okay, who's gonna go first? I'm suffering each time I aim for my chopstick. First of all, it's a chopstick. I'm suffering each time. Even though I'm like, the food is in front of me, yet it takes a moment for those two sticks to actually pick up and then somebody move the table. I have to do it quick.
So how can I help to reduce that? Give you a spoon and a
A
fork.
fork.
Okay, thank you. Next time
Yes,
you know what
but
to do.
again, don't you think I am off suffering? Probably not. That means that I may eat more.
Or less.
Then I will be fat. Then I suffer completely again. There's no rest. But again, okay, going back, what's the goal in meditation? Remember?
Calm the mind down.
Oh, very good. That's one. Anything else?
Single point. Concentration.
Very good. That's part of it. Any more? Come on! We just missed one sitting and you forgot already.
Discipline.
Remember?
Discipline.
Oh, you have to be disciplined to sit, otherwise you'll be standing.
Single point of single-mindedness.
That is what we want. But remember, what is the main goal? I said sit and what? Do nothing.
Think nothing, yeah.
And hope for nothing. You are not going to be enlightened when you're sitting where that's not. Remember? Yeah?
Emptiness.
To see things as they are.
But that's again a desire.
That is not a desire. You just see, look, you see?
No. Do nothing is a desire.
Well, if you're not desiring it, I said just, technically it is the engagement of the mind that you just need to watch. A desire is not like, a desire is something like you're really gonna wanna have it.